Hello, Kim. Good afternoon.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, everyone. I am Jean Yao, a biomedical researcher and a health coach. Just let you know, we have this live Dymo chat on Dymo Health Facebook page every Tuesday and Thursday. We talk about healthy nutrition and healthy lifestyles. Please follow us for more information later. Today, we are going to look at the top 3 challenges Kim has seen her clients struggle with over the years that have inhibited their weight loss efforts. Kim, would you start right now?
Okay, sure. So I'm Kim Fox, registered dietitian, and I specialize in functional medicine. And so again, as Jean said, I'm going to be sharing the top challenges that I have seen in my clients over the years. There's many different challenges associated with weight control, but I'd say these are the top 3 that I continue to see over and over again. And the first one is stress. And the problem with stress, one of the problems with stress is that it produces a hormone called cortisol. And the purpose of this hormone is to help us flee from immediate danger. However, if we're constantly stressed out, this cortisol production is going to be continuing. And because we live in such a fast-paced world, there's constantly deadlines to meet. And, we seem like we have to produce more in less time. Many of us, including myself, we all deal with probably excessive production of cortisol. The problem is that prolonged and heightened release of cortisol is what puts that body into a constant survival mode. This is what causes the production of fat cells, and it slows down our metabolism in order for us to store food for later use, or energy, I should say. And this fight or flight sense is going to take precedence over all other metabolic functions, such as digesting food. The body sees it as it's more important to get us out of this imminent danger than it is to make sure, is our heart rate at the right level? Are we digesting our food? Are we making enough hormones so we can have a baby? These things are all going to be put on kind of on the back burner. And so this ongoing process causes us to continue to produce and then store fat. And unfortunately, most of it is in our belly region, which is the worst place that we want to store that. So, Jean, do you ever get stressed out? You seem like you're a pretty even keel type of mellow person.
Yeah, well, I think I like to get stressed out. Every while I get stressed out and I feel like I want to eat more.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So first, I want to point out what some of the signs of cortisol excess or the things that can happen if we are constantly in this cortisol overdrive. So many people with cravings and just that, I just can't seem to lose weight, and some of these other things experienced. You see this term down there, wired and tired. What that means is that you are tired in the evening when you want to go to bed, but your mind keeps racing and you just cannot fall asleep. But eventually you do, but then the next morning you wake up tired, and this whole process repeats itself day after day after day. So what are some things that we can do to relieve that stress? What ideas do you have, Jean? What would be some things that you do to relieve stress?
Well, for me, I just go out for a walk and get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And if at the weekend I would, drive out to go to like countryside or somewhere far away from urban. So that's really relaxed.
Yeah. So some other ideas, it might just be maybe if you can't get away, but you can take, 30 seconds to do some deep breathing exercises, just breathing in through your nose, holding that for a few seconds, and then releasing that out of your mouth. Getting massage. So if you can get a monthly massage or even more frequently than that, that can be amazing.
Oh,
Sometimes
that would be great. That would be great. Yeah.
it's very nice. I try to get a massage twice a month. Sometimes the problem is that we as a society, we just have difficulty saying no. And sometimes we just need to prioritize and just say no. And that can help us. Establishing what you can and cannot control. And that's an ongoing issue that I deal with, trying to remember what I can and cannot control. Seeing a therapist or a counselor. And another thing is that you can have those blood cortisol levels checked or through saliva. And a normal cortisol level is that your cortisol level should be at its very peak or highest about 30 minutes from awakening. Okay, so that's what's helping us to awaken. And then it should be slowly decreasing throughout the day. So it should be at about its lowest point when you go to bed. If your levels are opposite, so if your cortisol level is highest at night, okay, then that's why you're having difficulty going to sleep. And that's why you're having difficulty waking up in the morning and not having much energy. So having a cortisol level checked can be something that can provide you with, some information if you're questioning this.
Yeah, that's good to know. I just feel like that's why when you go to sleep, you cannot sleep during the day at the nighttime, and then so that's because cortisol. So it's really good to know.
Yeah. So now we'll kind of address one of the things you had brought up, and that can be some of that overeating. And so
yeah, that's right.
really looking at, okay, what's behind that overeating, or what I call, sometimes it can be that mishandling of emotions or behaviors. And there are really different behaviors that surround some of this overeating. For example, there is what we call stress eating, and that is actually compulsive eating that can be due to an addiction, perhaps, or to mood changes. There are emotional eaters, and that's something that tends to come on more suddenly, and cravings are oftentimes involved in that. And this is when this pattern of eating can become habitual, and it often involves eating just because. So you're not hungry, you're just eating because the food is there, or you're bored, or you're tired, or whatever. But the problem with this is that somebody that is an ongoing emotional eater can eventually become a chronic overeater. And then lastly, another form of kind of these overeating or mishandling of emotions and behavior tendencies are those that are the reward eaters. They have a sense of, well, I deserve to have this because, all right, I worked hard today, so I should have that ice cream. Or, hey, I met that goal. Let's go out, or I got this promotion. Let's go out and celebrate. And yes, sometimes there are even people that reward themselves with food for exercising. Can you relate to any of these things, Jane?
Well, yeah, I think, sometimes, if I work very hard, I feel like, oh, I need to make a big meal for myself.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think we all
and then
dabble
I
in
feel
these.
satisfied.
Yeah. So what we can do with these types of eating patterns is the first step is to first recognize and then acknowledge that, if this is happening quite frequently, maybe I do have some type of a behavioral or some eating tendencies that maybe aren't so healthy. And then deciding that, you know what, I really need a change. So, and this can be a very, very personal journey for each individual, because it's likely going to need the assistance of a therapist, a counselor, perhaps even a registered dietitian. So a plan can then be formulated to determine what's the cause, what are the underlying causes that have caused these reactions, these behaviors. We can determine then the desired outcome, and then we can figure out the action steps that are needed to help you bring about those more normalized forms of eating. And then the last thing that I see that can cause some issues in people trying to lose weight is food. And the problem is that we are a culture of consumption. We historically eat out multiple meals at home every week. And as I've shared before, when I was a kid, we only ate out a few times a year. And now, people are typically doing this several times a week. We have severely increased food and beverage portions and, supersizing, and our plates and our cups and glasses are bigger. The marketing is very aggressive, and we see vending machines everywhere. So really, you can find food everywhere you go. And oftentimes it's because we are so busy taking care of our everyday lives. We really don't take the time to plan out what we're going to eat. And so what do? We end up grabbing, takeout or stopping at fast food, and we just keep repeating these same old habits.
And yeah, it's because those food, although we know the nutrients are not very good, they don't have enough nutrients for our
Right.
body, but they smell good or they taste good.
Yeah. And that's a great segue, because part of the reason why they taste good is that there's so much sugar in a lot of these processed foods. And Americans are really consuming about 360 calories a day just from this added sugar. And about 47% of our total sugar intake is coming from beverages, excluding milk and juice.
And that's a lot.
Yeah. And then the other thing, we also need to realize that as we age, our metabolism slows down. So we shouldn't be eating like we did back when we were in high school or college. And I tend to see this happen more frequently with men than I do with women that I meet with. However, what I see women actually do is, because their husbands want more to eat, they make more to eat. But in order to appease their husbands, well, their husband is still eating, so then they feel that they should keep eating. Or it could be even as they're cleaning up and there's some leftovers, maybe there's just a small amount and they don't want to, throw it away, or, oh, this doesn't pay to save. So they eat it. So those are the things that I generally see are being the problems with all our food availability. And then when it comes to
I
food,
think, Kim, sorry.
Yeah. No,
I think,
fine.
if just people have set up a healthy meal plan for the family, that might just change their old habits.
Yeah, and we're actually going to talk about that next week, aren't we?
Yes, looking forward to it.
So, and then when it comes to food, and I already talked a little bit about this, we are dealing with portion distortion. So tell us what we're going to be talking about on Thursday, Jean.
So Thursday, we are going to talk about the struggling with portion distortion. So Kim is going to talk more about this. That'll be very interesting. And by the way, we are going to start the program Healthy Meal Plan for Family starting like March 30th. And I think that's going to be very helpful for lots of people, especially for the families eat more food, cannot control the portion.
Yeah, I'm just going to make one change to what you said, is that I am actually attending the problem that people are dealing with with weight loss, but we're going to be looking at it from a genetic standpoint. So I'm actually going to be at a seminar learning about that. So hopefully I'll learn some juicy tidbits that I can pass on. Heather's Carpentier is going to be joining us on Thursday. So you're going to be with Heather on Thursday to talk about portion control. So
wow, that's great. That's great. Thank you.
And then again, I want to make sure I'm letting you know that the information that we have, it's all well researched and referenced and sourced. So here's our information for that. So again, with that, anything else, Jean, on your mind?
Well, Today, I think that's all for today. And we are looking forward to seeing you on Thursday.
Okay. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.